I'll just move to equity markets. You know, a bike showroom recently the IPO of a bike showroom was oversubscribed 400 times. You know, that of a mattress company was oversubscribed 1,000 times. You know, the equity markets today are at an all-time high. You know, what is your view on the state of play of equity markets today, and what is your advice to day traders?
Well, I'll first of all say we'll have to encourage the markets to be robust, no doubt. But particularly when speculative activities are too much, there needs to have a sense of caution in our minds. We need to have it. And we also need to make sure that people with their savings don't go to engage in high fluctuating or high risk ventures. No harm in participating in F&O, or no harm in going and investing in the equity market. But eventually, we need to be using financial information, authentic information, before we take a call.
You know, I asked this question with a little bit of care. You know, I think that, you know, I sense that the RBI is concerned about the lending spree by, you know, these fintech companies. I also see Sebi concerned about discount brokers, zero broking. You know, so in that context, is there some kind of a bubble building up? Is there irrational exuberance happening?
That's exactly what the Sebi referred to, and I've also remotely once mentioned about it. There needs to be a bit of caution on it. But that's not to suffocate the market. That's not to suffocate people who want to go and you know, engage themselves there. It's not at all to suffocate, but it also is a note of caution so that people don't end up losing money, which they don't go to actually, but understand the full risk and then engage.
Okay. Finance Minister, Ms. Madhabi Puri Buch was one of the rare pedigreed professionals from the private sector who got drafted into the government, into this regulatory role as Sebi chairman. What is your assessment of the situation involving Madhabi Puri Buch?
Well, I think quite a few of the allegations are being answered by her and by her husband, I think also. Yes. Both of them together are defending themselves and putting out facts to contradict those which are being alleged by the Congress party. So I think the facts will have to be taken on board.
And are you satisfied with her answers?
Well, I'm not here to judge that.
Okay. A question that everyone wants an answer from you. Can income tax payers expect a lowering of income tax rates? You know, the middle class has been expecting this. Directionally, how do you see this going forward? When will the internal committee's report on the review of Income Tax Act be ready?
Rahul, I want to take this opportunity to explain a few things.
Sure.
Since 2019, the attempt has been to simplify the direct taxation. The attempt has been to make sure that we make the whole process simpler, and that is why after much of a discussion, a new regime was brought in, wherein right from the beginning, the rates were kept low. And we gave the option to the assessees that if they want with exemption a regime, so that they think they've made long-term plans for, you know, taking insurance cover or for the EMI, and therefore they need their exemptions, they could continue with the old scheme. The new scheme was without any exemptions. It was first without standard deduction, and later again, when we heard people's voices, we brought in the standard deduction as well. Now, during the vote on account, again, a lot of consultation, not widely as much as the whole, general budget time consultations happen. But July budget, we had again had a lot of discussions and brought the rates down for middle class. In fact, people with higher income brackets were pushed up towards the lower rates.
Right.
not one rate was increased. And the standard deduction for the new regime was increased from 50 to 75,000. So if anything, keeping the middle class in mind, Honorable Prime Minister had in July budget said that the rates be brought down and more slightly higher income also get covered under the lesser rates. So keeping in mind the middle class is what we have done through the new regime, both in terms of increasing the standard deduction and in terms of bringing the rates down. Now, there are very many other things that we are doing for the middle class as well.
Yes.
Now, I understand there are people, middle class, who feel that the rate reduction which is happening for the new scheme should also be available for the old. Right. The enhancement in the standard deduction which is offered for the new should also apply to the old. The new regime was brought in consciously to simplify, reduce, and make it easy for complying. The income tax manual is like this. You have to search for everything, every provision.
Yes.
We wanted to simplify that. All the exemptions and the provisions which are given for it will have to be removed. And therefore, we brought the new regime. So I would humbly request that, and again, it's not as if we brought something and we're talking about it. More than 78% people have moved from the old to the new regime.
Yes.
Which means people are seeing the point of being in the new regime, although we are not compelling anyone to come from the old regime to the new. So keeping in mind the middle class, for rate reduction, for better standard deduction, because the uniqueness of income tax, not just in India, anywhere, is when you give a certain income bracket, a certain rate, suppose you say 0 to 5 lakhs, no tax, nil. That up to 5 lakhs you don't need to pay a tax is not just for those who are earning 5 lakh. It will apply to the first 5 lakh of a person who's earning 150 lakhs also. So it is a benefit given keeping in mind the poor, the middle class. But it will apply to anyone who's got higher. Naturally, that's the law of the country, and that's the, a common sense argument. So that benefit given to a middle class will also fill in into everybody's income who's in the higher net worth also. So that is why the exemption, standard deduction, has been increased, which will be only for the salaried class. So we are looking at various ways in which the middle class will be given the benefit, and the higher net worth are not getting benefit because of that, and therefore, we let them go simply. That doesn't happen. Right. So the ways in which we are bringing these reductions to benefit the middle class are being carefully looked into, and only then we are taking a call. And now, up to 7 lakhs, there is no tax to pay.
GST was one of the boldest reforms of this government. My question is that, can we expect some more stability and certainty with GST rates in time to come? World Bank had done a study of 115 countries. Almost 50 countries just had a single slab. Another 30 countries probably had a 2-rate structure, but we still have 5, 0, 5, 12, 18, 26. So is there some rationalization that you're looking at in time to come?
Yes, the group of ministers is working on it. About GST, there are 2 things. One, to bring the rates down further, simplify it, and put essential goods into one category, which is the lowest. But the ways in which this has to be done will have to be decided by that group of ministers first, and then the council, which looks into the recommendation. All these are part of the simplification and rationalization of the GST.
Next financial year, the fiscal deficit target set is 4.5% of GDP. Are you confident of being able to live within this target?
Yes, I'm confident and I'm hopeful.
Before I let you go, just a couple of questions. One on Tamil Nadu. In 2026, Tamil Nadu goes to state elections. Would you look at some kind of an alliance with AIADMK, considering that this time your Lok Sabha elections, your performance was less than spectacular? Would there be a review of that?
Well, yes, the central party takes the call on alliances all over the country, for every state and also for the national Lok Sabha elections and so on. Even for the state election, it will be the central party which will take a call on what should be at all on the alliance matter.
Okay. Do you think that the temples in Tamil Nadu should be freed from state control? You know, considering you have a state government which does not believe in the existence of God. Do you think that that should be done?
Yes. Wherever temples are with the government, it should ideally be left to the
devotees and
the devotees. It should be managed by well-wishers, devotees in the place, rather than be kept in the government's control.
Finance Minister, thank you so much for joining us. You always are very gracious, give us a lot of time, answer all the questions. Thank you so much.